You think you've got my number figured out? A motive born in drought and brevity. And if I'm not the soul of your design, I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't box me in. Don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer. I'd rather be free. I'd rather be a leader. I'd rather be a queen. I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer. I'd rather be clean. I'd rather be a poser in a magazine. I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. I wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in. Don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer. I'd rather be free. I'd rather be a leader. I'd rather be a queen. I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer. I'd rather be clean. I'd rather be a poser in a magazine. I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, and if I lose the fight, I still rage against the night. Don't box I'd rather be a dreamer. I'd rather be free. I'd rather be a leader. I'd rather be a queen. I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer. I'd rather be clean. I'd rather be a poser in a magazine. I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine.
Welcome to the Monday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome day. Welcome everybody. Sorry about that. Bruno, we are live from Polymarket Studios, indeed. Indeed, folks. Let me get myself situated here because we got a boogie. More like we are live from the Polycule Studios. I think it was Obama racist video thing that was smoke bombed to distract from the Epstein files. The internet went quiet about the Epstein. It was 100% focused on Obama / Bad Bunny. I mean, like the Bad Bunny concert was great. Yeah, the Super Bowl. We'll talk about that and the politics around that. But yeah, I mean, the guy is posting this. This isn't even like, this isn't even. This isn't even like new for this administration, right? Like, we know and we've known for a while that Trump is a raging racist. This isn't even new. The fact that he felt the need to be so blatant about it is kind of indicative of the situation that we're finding ourselves in. And him trying to blame a staffer, okay? Him trying to blame a staffer. We all know that this guy is too narcissistic to be this guy is too narcissistic to be letting go of the account, letting go of the control of the account. So I don't believe that it was a staffer, in my opinion. But even if it was a staffer that even if it was a staffer that promoted that,
if you can, please spread the word.
Bro, that just means that you've got a bunch of 4chan Nazis as your staffers. That's what it that's what that means to me. This regime loves Hitler. True. The FBI requested records from 4chan for 2 posts, each made within minutes and hours of Epstein's reported time of death, claiming direct knowledge of the event. According to SDNY, they were unable to identify the poster. Yeah, if you go to the Discord, if you go to the Discord, Nadia put a video up there. It's about an hour. It's just about an hour long. Oh, it gives more stuff on this Epstein stuff. This thing goes really, the rabbit hole is huge with the whole Epstein stuff. It's not just the we'll talk a little bit about what's going on here. It's not just like the obvious like child abuse and crimes, sex trafficking of children. It's also just like the financial stuff too. There's just so much to this. It's wild. It is wild. And I'm very hungry, so I am going to try to get out of here as soon as possible. But before we do so, can we get a word from our sponsor?
If you can, please spread the word and please hit that subscribe button, folks.
By the end of the year, it should be double digits. Double digit thousands.
We're just getting going.
We got a lot of stories for you today.
Thank you. Why don't you just stream like a proper streamer? Welcome. What's for dinner? Stew. Was anyone able to see that video, or did it just not play any sound at all? Give the folks some free unsolicited mukbang content. That is very rare. Like, I rarely do that. If I'm eating on stream, it's usually snacks, and that's because, like, I am at that point, that is just desperation. Nadia, welcome. The political manipulation that's likely illegal under various forms of regulation of foreign influence is also there. Yeah, it goes so, yeah, this whole thing is pretty freaking broad. The entire European far right and the entire Latin American far right are fully Epstein-fied. That's, I mean, that kind of tracks, to be honest. This space promo vid, yeah, was there any sound to it, or was I just like playing an empty video? I was hoping that it would just do it. I don't know if I set it up right. Oh god, I'm tired. Yes, please. Hey, Heat, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. Do all the links, folks. We need a total and complete shutdown on the wealthy until we can figure out what the hell is going on here. I can tell you, it's capitalism. I heard the sound. Okay, that's all I wanted to know, because I couldn't hear it. It said it was playing sound, but I couldn't hear anything. But that's all that matters, folks. That is your propaganda video for the day. Seriously, folks, if you haven't done so, please go show some support to this space. I do my show every Tuesday around 7 p.m. Eastern time, and there's so many great creators. It's a working class media collective, something that isn't found anywhere else. Honestly, I have freshly baked chalky chip cookies. That is amazing. The thing that's amazing is that it's just one honeypot operation. It usually takes patchwork of quite a number of honeypot operations to cover so much ground. Yeah. Yeah. That's very true. No, I know, I'm being silly. Obviously, if we could shut them down, we could have by now. And it's like, by definition, there's no we sufficiently organized to have that power in capitalist society. That's true. In theory, on paper, we could. In theory, we could. Whether or not we have the capacity, the organization, the will right now, somewhat. It's getting there, but not quite. Cognizant, welcome. The fake left PM of Slovakia is a friendly to Putin as well. Yikes. Alright, folks, let's get started with obvious, real political news. The Super Bowl. Did anybody see the Super Bowl? Yeah, Sports Bowl. I had no idea what was going on with the Super Bowl, to be honest. But, I did see the, I did see Green Day open up for the Super Bowl, Green Day being Green Day, quite tame. And then of course the Bad Bunny halftime show was amazing. Not like, just to be clear, like I'm not the biggest fan of Bad Bunny's music per se. It's just not my style of music. However, I think that there was so much there's just like so much to glean off the entire performance, from anti-colonial songs by Ricky Martin, right? The anti-colonial song that he was talking about, to how Puerto Rico was, to the power outages that they're suffering during Hurricane Maria. I mean, there was so much there was so much iconography, and messaging that I was pretty I was pretty, you know, pretty on board with that. The best money. When people are getting organized, COINTELPRO disorganized them. Yep. That happened a lot in the 70s. Alright, it's a fight until and unless the fight is won. No wonder it feels like constant jihad. Morally, I can't listen to him. He literally tells you he's bad. True. Maybe if he was good, Bunny, I'd listen. Like the most commercialized punk, if the term can even be abused, that far banned. I mean, like, they're pretty, like, behind the scenes when they're not playing for the Super Bowl. They're pretty based. I'm gonna be controversial. I agree with Ricky Gervais' take on celebrities when they criticize the Trump regime. I think the selection of the song, the selection of the songs were the protest through Green Day, because they could have played anything, and they chose to play songs from American Idiot. But yeah, I thought it was cathartic that the Patriots got smoked thoroughly. Yeah, true. COINTELPRO never ended. Yeah, well, I mean, they're still actively anything that has to do with any type of working class movement is still actively and very much attacked. Yes.
MAGA turned last night's Super Bowl halftime show into something political when it was never meant to be, and they got their ass kicked in the process. So
wait.
in
To
this
be
video,
fair,
I'm gonna go over.
Let me stop. It was better if they kept their mouth shut because they're also part of the elite. Yeah. You mean Green Day? No, I think Green Day are real ones. I think they've been like that from the beginning, and Billy Joe is not like some rich kid that made it big, you know, as a pop punk band or whatever. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. If I may, Mr. Dole, if I may, Mr. Dole, the whole thing was political. The whole thing, like Kendrick Lamar's entire halftime show last time was political. Seriously, Dottie was even trying to make such a point, let alone well. Yeah, given the fact that he's also pretty rich himself. The wealthy should betray their class, though, just before they justly hang with it. Chilling, eating cookies. That sounds fantastic. That sounds fantastic. But they don't fear us enough yet for that rationale to enter their mind. I think like Luigi might have kind of implemented that, but not on a broader scale.
These competing, if we can call it competing, halftime shows, and just how one is clearly about love, culture, performance, artistry, and the other is about being a massive fucking loser. Take a guess at which is which. So before I get to the numbers here, which for me are
also like wasn't Kid Rock Kid Rock is the guy that also made the song that came out on Osmosis Jones. The song is also the song that also came out in Osmosis Jones, where he very explicitly says that he's into underage girls. That's the guy that they chose to headline the alternative headline show or halftime show.
The most important thing, I think it's worth noting, this halftime show was
plus he's
never
Kid
meant to
Rock.
be political. MAGA made it political by criticizing the choice of Bad Bunny because he's a Spanish-speaking artist, many of them not even calling him American, even though he's from Puerto Rico. It's just pure racism. You have here the biggest performer on earth, the most streamed artist for a fourth year.
Yeah, also like Bad Bunny is political. I don't understand like why like people would say that the whole thing was not meant to be political, and he is political. Like, say what you will about his music. It's not about the music for me. It's about the imagery and the messaging that he is sending. That's what it is.
He just won Album of the Year. Picking Bad Bunny to be the showcase at the halftime show is not a political choice. It's an objectively correct choice if you're looking for the biggest artist on earth. In fact, you could argue maybe it would have been political not to choose him because you see such a clear choice to host the halftime show. But here are the numbers. So this is from The Athletic, which is the New York Times, saying here that Bad Bunny got 135.4 million, which would eclipse the 133 of Kendrick Lamar last year, against 6.1 million for Turning Point USA, which is largely from YouTube. And even there's some questions around some of those numbers because there were some live streamers who were watching the TP USA one, like XQC. You can find a clip out there. He's watching the stream and the chat isn't moving.
I mean, it's 6.1 million is not a lot. It really isn't, if you think about it. Honestly, even if he went out of his way to be as apolitical as possible, as if that's a thing, the worst people alive would be made because brown and speaking Spanish. Yep. If you want political, bring back the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Spicy. No, if you wanted like more political, like I think like Green Day, let Green Day be Green Day at the halftime show. Oh, you'll get your politics right there. You'll get your political, but even then, like Bad Bunny, the entire show was political. Everything was political about the show, about the performance. The Puppy Bowl had more views. I love the Puppy Bowl. Back then, I used to watch the Puppy Bowl more. Are Red Hot Chili Peppers leftists? I don't really know their politics, honestly.
It's not moving at the pace of what it should have moved if there were 5 million live viewers. That said, regardless, these numbers, who cares? Obviously, the Super Bowl was going to beat out the Clanchella, so it was no competition.
Clanchella.
But for me, the real point worth making here is just how much of a loser fest the TPUSA one was compared to the halftime show, and how much of a fucking loser you have to be to freak out about Bad Bunny. So, again, on the point about streams, he got 19.8 billion streams last year. So for a fourth time, he's the most streamed artist on Spotify. As Roddy writes here, Sunday's halftime show was the first primarily Spanish language performance to take place at the Super Bowl, although Bad Bunny was a guest back in 2020. While Bad Bunny's performance was an exuberant and deeply coded celebration of Latin American culture, it was also a statement that culture is meant to be shared. Love is stronger than hate. Together we are American. Everyone is welcome on the dance floor. This is exactly why the performance was so amazing. As a white dude from Canada, I did not understand a word of Bad Bunny's performance, but it was fantastic.
Yeah, and you don't have to like understand what he's saying to get the imagery, right? The imagery of the plantations and whatnot. Yeah, like it's pretty obvious, even if you don't speak Spanish. She passed away, did a song in Spanish because they were touring and had to stop in CDMX. I think half the time they mostly bounced, by the way, Turkey and Germany. Cool. Nice.
And the message of love was clear, not just in the performance of it. But at the end, I'll show you a couple of obvious messages about love and unity that came through. But it was an amazing performance. And there's a great piece here in Slate that I'm going to link to below the video that really goes over a lot of the intricacies and the discussion around why this performance was so meaningful, the deeper meaning of Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime performance. I do want to quote just one paragraph here from it. The days of an imagined, safe, white, English-speaking median audience, if it ever really existed, are over in the United States, and the appetite abroad for entertainment catering exclusively to that audience is waning. The idea of this default audience is not even a useful fiction anymore. This is a world where an anime film can win the top spot at the US box office, where the highest grossing movie of the year is Chinese, where the most watched Netflix show of all time is Squid Game, and where the longest reigning song number one song of the past year is by a group of K-pop demon hunters. 6 years ago, as Parasite was on its way to becoming the first non-English language movie to win the Academy Award for Best Picture, Bong Joon-ho talked about the riches that await viewers willing to overcome the 1-inch tall barrier of subtitles, and it would seem that most of the world has cleared it. We are in a time now where the cultural barriers have come down, where we are now able to experience the full breadth of what art has to offer. If you're still stuck in your little box, that's on you, and you're free to do that, but you're not going to keep the rest of us locked up. So you can kick and scream and cry.
Yeah, and like anyone who's like complaining, anyone who's complaining like about Bad Bunny, like I didn't hear a word of English. Well, dude, yeah, who cares? And this is like 2026. So yeah. Not even a useful fiction anymore. Translation or marketing department tells us that the racism is now a net cost. Honestly, Koreans make some of the best shows. Love Korean horror especially. Bad Bunny did a great job. All artistic acts should be political. Most of it is. Most of it is, even if it doesn't seem like it. Most art is political. Most of it. Like I can't. 99% of it is. It's all kind of embedded.
About artists like Bad Bunny becoming popular and running the halftime show, but the rest of us loved it, and we're going to continue enjoying the full scope of what art has to offer. And that gets to the message that Bad Bunny's performance ended with, as Pop Ace shared here. The billboard behind him saying, "The only thing more powerful than hate is love." And then the football, "Together we are America," which, by the way, included Canada.
Yeah.
This was every Canadian when Bad Bunny yelled Canada.
Yeah,
the other
because
countries
he's talking about America, like the entire continent, the entire like North and South continent. I think Angelia Mango had been cutting Spanish versions of various of her hits, and La Noia even refers to doing a Colombian dance, La Cumbia. Nice. Yeah, but people who just want to coast through life on autopilot privilege get so mad like you're doing the worst suppression to them, making them think about or question that desire at all. That's politics in those people's eyes. It's about the rudest possible thing you can do to force them to think about it. Yeah, it's like the people who are mad that, it's like the people who are mad that Rage Against the Machine is political. Bro, what? Have you listened to the lyrics? Oh, I can't do Green Day anymore. They're too political. Everything is political now with Green Day. What are you talking about? Australia, welcome. Yes, the wedding was real. That's right. The wedding was real. 100%. It is alleged, although I can't confirm this, that Bad Bunny even signed their certificate. I don't give a F about football or sports in general, but that'd be pretty cool to get married like that. That was all Bad Bunny. He did that. He did that.
yelling out. Very cool. It's cool just to be thought about, you know? It's cool to be included. Now, Donald Trump, I'm not going to read his garbage because...
Oh my God. Jared Leto is a leftist. Is he? Is that the sex cult guy? Is he? That's going to be one hell of an anniversary story for the kids. True. The entire division of the New World into North and South America was a racist motivated affair. I don't doubt that at all. Before that push, America was just referred to both together. Huh. Man, Bad Bunny just keeps getting better and better.
You know. But I do want to point out how much of a massive loser this man is.
Imagine getting triggered over the Bad Bunny halftime show. Absolutely terrible. Literally, this is just like this is racist grandpa being allowed to post on Maine. This is racist grandpa being allowed to post on Maine. North and South America is geologically distinct, though. Yeah, well, yes, of course. There's geological distinctions between even inside continents. That's not. I don't think that's the point. Doubt on the left as Leto claims. I truly don't know. I'm gonna be honest, chat. The dancing was PG. Yeah, it's the Super Bowl. Okay, it's the Super Bowl. I don't understand. This is just racist grandpa posting on Maine is what's happening here.
Like the dancing is disgusting, especially for young children that are watching from throughout the USA. Really? This would be the executive in the 50s saying, "Don't shoot Elvis from the waist down. It's too suggestive." Like, you're this much of a fucking loser. I mean, of course you are, but it's just it's worth noting, along with the other everything else in here, baked in racism and everything else, just how much of a loser this man is. But that gets us to the Clanchella. Kid Rock, Turning Point halftime show.
Yeah. So, right. The dancing was inappropriate. What is appropriate is the man who wrote lyrics about being a pedophile and liking underage girls. That's appropriate. That's kid appropriate, right? Y'all remember Janet's titty? Yes, the infamous nip slip. Yes.
Where I first want to share this because I think this is a funny point that Jason Selvig shared.
Kid Rock performed at the 2004 Super Bowl. His attire was an American flag that he cut a hole in and made into a poncho. He performed in that, and then after he performed, there were veterans groups that were like, this is terrible. This is a desecration of the flag. And I thought it was kind of interesting that he is the headliner of the All-American Super Bowl halftime show when he desecrated the flag. And Donald Trump has said many times, anyone who doesn't respect our great flag needs to get the hell out of here. Those are his words, not mine. So I guess my question... I mean,
hypocrisy, whatever, dude. Hypocrisy doesn't work, man. They know all this stuff. They don't care. They know all this stuff. They just don't care. Like, why would they care? Do kids still these days still watch the Super Bowl when not forced to, held hostage by their parents watching the Super Bowl? A neoliberal consensus, social democrats are more or less liberal conservatives. I don't watch the Super Bowl since it's a bunch of capitalist propaganda. True. If that weren't true, American football has got to be one of the most boring sports to ever watch. If I do watch like sports, it's mostly soccer, to be honest. I'm gonna be honest, I don't watch a lot of sports, not a big sports ball guy. But soccer would be my preferred one.
Question is he really all-American, or is he an enemy of the people? Kid Rock.
So there's no consistency in MAGA, of course. They aren't thinking about Kid Rock and desecrating the flag. But maybe today they're wondering, why wasn't this man actually singing? Because he was mocked online for lip syncing throughout the performance. Now, I'm still unclear because there's some people saying that it may have been audio sync issues because this was apparently pre-recorded. We'll get to that in a
Oh
second.
my god.
But-
Really?
Or it was lip.
Pre-record. Oh, oof. This is rough, man. This is rough. Never had a peep for it for many years. Usually it was chess, if anything, but when not, either tennis, cricket, or the real football instead of American football, if I ever heard anything about sports. I feel that. Not a big sports guy, but like that, or basketball, same reason. Golf is just an excuse to waste time, resources, and grossly for everyone involved. Golf shouldn't be like a sport. Latino's favorite sport is soccer. Yes. Breaking news. I agree. You couldn't pay me to watch golf. You couldn't pay me enough money to watch golf.
No one knows for sure.
There shouldn't, like, golf courses shouldn't exist.
Unless you were one of the 100 people in the audience there. But as Variety writes, sources say the show was pre-taped in Atlanta. Because it's probably hard to get a group of people together during the Super Bowl to watch this alternate Super Bowl, unless you're paying them to be there. But
Yikes. Golf courses should be seized by the state immediately. True. You should raise those golf courses and build houses for the homeless. True. Even if it is literally going to allow them to return to a natural state. Yeah, I'd be fine with that either way. I don't know why Americans call football soccer and call American football football instead of the hand egg or some such. That's a pretty good point. At no point, there's only literally like one time where you actually use your feet to kick the ball. There's like only like the kicker only comes out like a couple times, if at that. Yeah, it should not. There's nothing there's nothing football-y about football.
I think out of any description of what the Kid Rock show was, it's this for me. Feeling more like an old CMT special. So as somebody who grew up in the 90s watching CMT specials, abso-freaking-lutely, this is straight out of a CMT. This set alone out of a CMT special. That was the feel that this had. And as Eric Doherty, so this is a right-wing influencer, has almost 1 million followers on Twitter. Writing here, reports indicate X usage got so high during the TPUSA All-American halftime show, the platform was down for brief moments. We broke the internet.
Imagine thinking that Twitter is the internet. Like, look. First of all, okay. We have no way of proving that, but number one, Twitter is not the internet, okay? And also, second of all, it could very well be that Twitter went down because Twitter is such a garbage website that it has regular problems. Like the issues are on the regular. Speaking of hiking, have you ever played Karn yet? No. Golf is a great way to launder money. Case in point, the Saudi billionaires started their own league. Yeah. I'm not Jonah. Definitely not Jonah. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that.
His readers corrected him here. TPUSA actually pivoted from X streaming to YouTube due to licensing issues. It was never on X. This really gets me to question what the actual numbers are. If you have prominent right,
man, it was not. There was nothing real about that. Not at all. Like there was literally zero truth in that tweet at all. At all. Like if anything, they could have just said that Twitter was down because of all the engagement of people talking about the alternative TP Toilet Paper USA halftime show. They can't even lie properly. This is sad. This is sad now. It's like we run the culture because Twitter went down because all the right-wing Nazis that hang out on Twitter, right? Yeah, that's That's the internet. Twitter goes down more often than Trump whenever Bill Clinton shows up at the Epstein Island. FIFA accepted blood money to host the 2030 40 Cup there. I mean, FIFA is pretty bad as an organization. Not gonna lie.
Influencers out there saying it was performing so well on a platform it was never even on.
Bubba.
I don't know. Kevin Sorbo, right wing. Who was he? Hercules? That who he was? Live action Hercules. But he's a right wing loon now. Don't forget to change the channel during the Super Bowl halftime show. And 20 minutes later, worst halftime show I've ever seen. Did this guy forget? I guess not take his own advice. So hilarious stuff. Even this is inside Trump's golf club during the Super Bowl. Their Super Bowl party. I can't play because there's the copyright on the audio. But there's Lindsey Graham there. Trump's there somewhere. They are watching the Bad Bunny halftime show. They did not switch it over to the.
That's so funny, man. That's so freaking funny, dude. Oh man, everything about this is hilarious because conservatives are melting down because a Spanish speaker did the halftime show because they're a bunch of racists. And here you have the head racist dude, okay? The head honcho of racist, right? Watching the Bad Bunny halftime show. Australia wanted to host it, but they dropped the bid. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. More like Kevin Borbo.
TPUSA Clanchella. So even they were like, yeah, that Kid Rock thing is too losery even for us. So they kept on the Bad Bunny. Here is Jake Paul.
Oh
influencer
yeah, Jake
turned
Paul.
Failed boxer.
Yeah, Jake Paul. Didn't he get his mouth wired shut? What is he running his mouth on about on Twitter? Are they afraid that their kids will know that people are Hispanic? True. Isn't this the guy that got his mouth shut, literally wired shut, because he thought he was him? And also, maybe David is gonna go into this, but also, didn't Jake Paul move to Puerto Rico and made it a part of his identity, as well as his personality? Wasn't that part of Jake Paul's thing? Yeah, no. Michael Hasser, welcome. See,
Purposefully turning off the halftime show. Let's rally together and show big corporations they can't just do whatever they want without consequences. I'm not even sure what this means. Again, Bad Bunny, the biggest artist in the world. They're choosing who people like to listen to, which equals viewership to them. You are their benefit. Realize you have power. Turn off this halftime.
Yeah, dude. Working class hero, Jake Paul. Yeah. What? Bro, get out of here. I wonder if they would explode if they got lectured by a chalk white woke Spaniard.
A fake American citizen performing who publicly hates America. I cannot support that. Jake Paul as readers out of the
man. It's just the racism in these people. The racism in these people is just so comic book villain levels, okay? It's just so unbelievable. And he knows that. He knows what he's doing, right? I don't know if he just got hit too hard in the head in that last fight, but he knows what he's doing. He literally lives in Puerto Rico. Ground level news, welcome. Doesn't Jake Paul live in Puerto Rico? Yep. Jake Paul's a bad boxer. He's nothing. He's a social media trash. He does not deserve to be discussed anywhere. I agree. And yet here he is running his mouth.
Has lived in Puerto Rico since 2021. In fact, he moved there with his brother to leverage Puerto Rico's tax incentives under Act 60, which apparently, with the right structuring, could essentially lower their combined effective tax rate from as high as 50% to only 4% by moving to the island. This guy moves to Puerto Rico to evade taxes.
Yeah, what a scumbag from top to bottom, man.
Has the gall to claim that Bad Bunny isn't American when he's living in the same island.
And also, like, at what point did he, like, did he say that he hated America? Right? Like, at no point under any of that performance was there, like, a explicit, like, anti... this is just, like, insane racism, okay? This is the type of racism that you expect from, like, the uncle that you don't really want in the family meetings. Yeah. Because, you know, if you start speaking Spanish, they get uncomfortable. That's the level, man, that we're dealing with. I think Karl Marx was a great economist, Jeremy Corbyn. I mean, he definitely had a lot of insight, especially when it came to capitalism. If you want to understand capitalism, you should probably read Marx. There was literally an American flag. Yeah, wasn't it like the first flag too? I mean, like, these people, it's just racism. That's what it is.
Bunny's from. It's just ridiculous stuff. So here's the QC stream where, again, I can't play because there's audio, but this is the YouTube chat on that TPUSA Super Bowl halftime show, which is not moving. Like, it's not, there was apparently 5 million viewers, but the chat was moving at a snail's pace.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Who knows?
Very weird.
Maybe it's just maybe it's just all those people are bots. Maybe it's just all those people are just view bots. They're view botting.
But
because nobody wants to watch this garbage. I didn't watch this garbage. Anything that I have seen from the from the Toilet Paper USA halftime show has been against my will, okay? I have not even actively sought to watch clips, okay? I've seen other people talk about it, but I have not gone out of my way to find clips.
The reason I wanted to share that is because of the comment below. Because this song that I cannot show.
Absolutely captivated by the show, perhaps. Yeah, that must be it. That must be it. I heard the non-botted viewership is closer to 1 million. I mean, hey, who knows? That might be the case. Who knows? That might be the case.
You is so terrible. This is an actual quote in the video. I'll link this below in case you want to hear it. An actual quote from that country song. I just want to catch my fish, drive my truck, drink my beer.
Oh man, you know, wow.
Okay.
Fantastic lyrics, man. You know what? I'm sorry. Look, I know this is supposed to be like a call to, like, you know, the conservative, like, Neanderthal brain, okay? But Jesus Christ. I can't even, folks.
I'm not sure he wants me to say his name. I have a friend who works at a country music radio station. And he constantly makes fun of how bad the new country music is. And look, I'm someone who grew up listening to country. I love 90s country music. I love Garth Brooks. Actually, we'll get to Garth Brooks later. But country music now, in terms of like pop country stuff that's played on the radio, is so terrible. Practically every other song is about fishing or about water, about beer, about blue jeans. They all have the same themes. It's there's no depth to any of it. I'm not saying there aren't good country artists out there right now. There are. They exist, but they're not getting the same play as a lot of these other artists are who are singing about.
It's just easy to It's just easy to appeal to the common, least common denominator, right?
About beer and driving their truck. Like it is so, it is so ridiculous. So the artists there, country singers Brantley Gilbert, Lee Brice, Gabby Barrett, which
I have no
all
idea who
look
these
like
people are.
anagrams of each other. Funny stuff. But in terms of non-US artists, because there are a lot of complaints. Oh, Bad Bunny, not even American, even though he's American, Puerto Rico, American. But did these same people complain about Phil Collins, Enrique Iglesias, U2, Shania?
No, they don't care about any of that. Like, that's the thing. They don't. None of that matters. Okay, they saw in 2026. Okay, mind you, these people would not be. Were not or maybe some of them were complaining about someone like Shakira or Enrique Iglesias. I actually remember that. Anyways, I'm not going to date myself too much here. But these people weren't throwing like a national hissy fit, okay, and playing their own alternative halftime show because Enrique Iglesias decided to do the halftime show. So the only thing that's happening here is that they're just more comfortable with their racism. That's what's happening here. Yeah, these idiots are selling on themselves constantly in so many ways. Bad Bunny is not non-US, correct. Once I'm eligible to vote here in Germany, I'll likely have everything starting from the SPD going further left from there on my ballots in order to how far to the left they are furthest at the top. See, that's, say what you will about the problems in Germany, but, at the very least, like, when you have a setup like that, at least you can try, at least you have, like, the option to vote closer to your values than we have here in the United States.
Twain, Sting, Celine Dion, Paul McCartney, Rolling Stones, The Who, Coldplay, Shakira, The Weeknd, Rihanna. Like, again, going to how empty any of these criticisms about Bad Bunny are. So they wrote, TPUSA writing, the All-American Halftime Show is an opportunity for all Americans to enjoy a halftime show with no agenda other than to celebrate faith, family, and freedom.
Yeah, whatever, dude. The fact that you felt the need to make an alternative halftime show tells me everything, right? Tells me everything. Any person from Puerto Rico can actually run for POTUS? Yeah, because they're American. Or they're a U.S. citizen. Buddy Rich, the goat of drumming's last words before dying was medicating his bed was an answer to the question, do you have an allergy? He said, yes, country music. Is that a real thing? I would have expected Phil Collins to be doing In the Air Tonight at the Super Bowl in 1981 or whatever. He didn't play that song?
Headlined by the guy that wrote Balls in Your Mouth. This is
yeah, that's fantastic stuff. Man. Fantastic stuff. The racism vanishes if they can group the beat. Not even. The moment they start speaking Spanish in 2026, that's when the problems start.
rock song, Balls in Your Mouth. With the chorus, balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth. You want my balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth. You want my balls in your mouth. Faith.
Oh my god. Fantastic. Yeah, no agenda whatsoever.
And family right there. He also has this song, Cool Daddy Cool, with the lyrics, young ladies, I like 'em underage.
Yeah. Straight to jail right away. No trial, no nothing. You talk about young ladies and how you like them underage, right to jail. You talk about statutory rape being mandatory, jail.
Rock sings on the track. See, some say that's statutory. His psychic at the time, the late Joe C, then chimes in, but I say it's mandatory. Faith, family, Kid Rock.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to share this to end on this. There was just to show you.
Yeah, lyrical genius. Lyrical genius. A lyrical genius for the Epstein folks. I don't know the song he played at the Super Bowl, but he apparently played it in 2000, where I would have expected it as a Miami Vice promo when he was actually running. Huh.
How far some parts of the culture have fallen. Because back in 1993, Garth Brooks walked out of the Super Bowl national anthem that he was going to perform because NBC at the last minute said they were not going to run his new music video for a song that I'll get to in a second here. He protested, walked out, NBC had to cave, and there he is singing the national anthem. This is where the Super Bowl halftime show was Michael Jackson. I'm sure a lot of people, they don't remember because they weren't live. They have seen how big that performance was. But they were going to debut a Garth Brooks song. So as Audacity writes here, a lesser-known story of the Super Bowl 27 was country star Garth Brooks' battle with programming execs over his wish to broadcast his latest music video for We Shall Be Free. The song was written in response to the LA riots that followed the Rodney King verdict in '92. The video featured harrowing footage of riots, war, poverty, and other topics that the network decided were too controversial to air, so Brooks reportedly bounced. After some scrambling by executives to figure out a solution, eventually Brooks got his way and returned to sing the anthem proudly beside Academy Award-winning actress Marlee Matlin as she signed for the hearing impaired. You have here, I wish I could play it because this is a great song. I'll get to the lyrics in a second. But they actually had to delay the opening kickoff to play this Garth Brooks song, We Shall Be Free, which right-wingers would today claim is too woke. And 100%. To be fair, country stations back then, some of them weren't playing it either. Because, again, a message of freedom, equality, as we'll get to with these lyrics. But it shows you, like, Garth Brooks was the most popular country artist in the 90s. There is no one like that today in country music with this level of popularity who's singing about these sorts of issues. So let me just quote a bit of this because it is a really good song. This ain't coming from no prophet, just an ordinary man. When I close my eyes, I see the way this world shall be when we all walk hand in hand. When the last child cries for a crust of bread, when the last man dies for just words that he said, when there's shelter over the poorest head, we shall be free. Speaking to poverty, feeding the poor, speaking to...
That's wild. That's wild that this is the kind of stuff that they were putting out in the 90s. And now it's just like... I like to drink beer and ride in my big truck. Okay. Violet Quinlaw, welcome. Subliminal messaging? No, it's pretty... I think it's pretty... Well, at least this song is... I think it's pretty upfront.
Of speech. When the last thing we notice is the color of skin, when the first thing we look for is the beauty within, when the skies and the oceans are clean again, we shall be free. Speaking to a clean environment, speaking to anti-racism. Like, can you imagine the top-selling country star today doing anything like this? When we're free to love anyone we choose, when this world's big enough for all different views, when we can all worship from our own kind of pew. Freedom of religion. Gay rights. This song is from 92.
Yeah, this would not fly today at all, which is kind of weird, right? This song would not fly at all with the right wing. Is that pic of like the Christian version of YMCA? No. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what picture you're referring to. I remember hearing Garth Brooks' name, but I didn't really know much about him. Really don't know anything about him. I'll be honest, me neither. Okay. Me neither. That totally tracks in my opinion.
Country music song speaking about gay rights. And when money talks for the very last time and nobody walks a step behind, when there's only one race and that's mankind, we shall be free. This is anti-capitalist. Like, there is nothing like this in country today that, I should say, at this level of popularity.
Yeah.
This is not what's dominating country today. So really shows you how far that genre has fallen. But again, I want to hear your thoughts on the competing halftime shows.
Oh, there was no competition. Let me be clear. There was no competition, okay? Like, nobody cared about what was happening on Turning Point USA, okay? At all.
Did you even watch the other one?
Nope.
What are your thoughts on Bad Buddy and Clanchella? Let me know below the video. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like.
Fine, I'll do it. Alright, folks, we're gonna just run through some of these things before we get out of here. Yeah, this fling with Mango the Stripper. It's funny, I know a dude whose username is Mango. I'll ask what he does for a living. Not a big fan of Mango, I'm gonna be honest. Not a big fan. I heard more stuff coming out of Germany than the US. I've been into German music but never thought I'd live here. Huh. That's fascinating. I'm not a big fan of country music, but that is pretty based at the time. So what do you mean before we get out of here? You just went live. No, I didn't. I've been live for an hour and something. Oh, I was talking about Kid Rock with the subliminal messaging. Yeah, I don't know what the subliminal messaging is of having balls in your mouth, but yeah. I don't know. Well, folks, it seems like Jeffrey Epstein is man, he's an innocent guy, folks, because the FBI has decided that Jeffrey Epstein wasn't in fact running a sex trafficking ring for powerful men. No. Of course not. Of course not. The FBI poured over Jeffrey Epstein's bank records and emails. It searched his home, spent years interviewing victims and examining his connections to some of the world's most influential people. But while investigators collected ample proof that Epstein sexually abused underage girls, they found scant evidence that well-connected financiers led a sex trafficking ring serving powerful men. Oh, well, gee, thanks. That's all that we really needed. So yeah, I mean, he might have been like a pedophile, and there's incredibly powerful and wealthy people connected to him. There's also extremely compelling evidence that he sold these underage girls to these powerful men. But of course, there's no evidence that he led a sex trafficking ring. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. If you want to see that sort of stuff, I listen to Google Dark Dance Treffen. Nice. Oh, I'm glad that's cleared up. Me too. Thank goodness. Yeah, finally. Justice. Ladybug, welcome. Videos and photos seized from Epstein's home in New York, Florida, and the Virgin Islands don't depict victims being abused or implicate anyone else in his crimes, a prosecutor wrote in a 2025 memo. Oh, well, thank goodness. An examination of Epstein's financial records, including payments he made to entities linked to influential figures in academia, finance, and global diplomacy, found no connection to criminal activity. Oh, well, I mean, that's great. Even while one of Epstein's victims made highly public claims that he lent her to his rich friends, agents couldn't confirm that and found no other victims telling a similar story, even though there's millions of files. So let me get this straight. Jeffrey Epstein was convicted. I'm sorry. Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted, was tried and convicted, found guilty to sex trafficking to no one, right? So that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting from this. And listen to Nelly sing a country song on repeat while wearing his facial band-aid. No, I didn't. I'm actually not, I haven't listened to Nelly in, like, literal years. I almost forgot that Nelly existed. But he did do a country song, did he not? That was a while ago. That is a while ago. The AP and other media organizations are still reviewing millions of pages of documents, many of them previously confidential, at the Justice Department released under the Epstein File Transparency Act, and it's possible those records contain evidence overlooked by investigators. Yeah. Okay. But the documents, which include police reports, FBI interview notes, and prosecutor emails, provide the clearest picture to date of the investigation and why U.S. authorities ultimately decided to close it without additional charges. Nelly Furtado, I vaguely remember her. The Epstein investigation began in 2005 when the parents of a 14-year-old girl reported she had been molested at the millionaire's home in Palm Beach, Florida. Police would identify at least 35 girls with similar stories, but there was no sex trafficking ring. Got it. Understood. Fantastic. Thanks, boss. Yeah, and she gets puppies now. Exactly. Yeah, Epstein's main accomplice has nothing to see here, folks. Yeah, 35 girls come forward with similar stories about being abused. But there's no sex trafficking ring. Got it. Nelly, I want to say hip hop, rap. Sees many dots in a straight line. I see no way to connect these dots. Welcome, I'm just me. Welcome, welcome. After the FBI joined the probe, federal prosecutors drafted indictments to charge Epstein and some personal assistants who had arranged the girls' visits and payments, but no sex trafficking ring. Got it. But instead, then, Miami attorney, U.S. Attorney Alexander Acosta, incidentally, was the attorney for Trump's first term, struck a deal letting Epstein plead guilty to state charges of soliciting prostitution from an underage girl sentenced to 18 months in jail. Epstein was free by mid-2009. In 2018, a series of Miami Herald stories about the plea deal prompted New York federal prosecutors to take a fresh look at the accusations. Epstein was arrested in July of 2019. 1 month later, he killed himself, allegedly, in his jail cell. A year later, prosecutors charged Epstein's longtime confidant, Ghislaine Maxwell, saying she recruited several of his victims and sometimes joined the sexual abuse. Convicted in 2021, Maxwell serving a 20-year prison term, which again, a prison term about recruiting and abusing underage girls. But there is no sex trafficking ring. Prosecution memos, case summaries, and other documents made public in the department's latest release of Epstein-related records show the FBI agents and federal prosecutors diligently pursued potential co-conspirators. Even seemingly outlandish and incomprehensible claims called in tip lines were examined. Some allegations couldn't be verified, investigators wrote. In 2011 and 2019, investigators interviewed Virginia Giuffre, who in lawsuits and new interviews had accused Epstein of arranging for her to have sexual encounters with numerous men. Come back here. Including Britain's former Prince Andrew. Investigators say they confirmed that Giuffre had been sexually abused by Epstein, but other parts of her story were problematic. Two Epstein's victims, who Giuffre claimed were also lent out to powerful men, told investigators they had no such experience, prosecutors wrote in a 2019 internal memo. No other victim has described being expressly directed by either Maxwell or Epstein to engage in sexual activity with other men. In other words, Ghislaine Maxwell was found guilty of trafficking children to nobody. That's what we're really being told to believe. Okay. Giuffre acknowledged writing a partly fictionalized memoir of her time with Epstein containing descriptions of things that didn't take place. She also offered shifting accounts in interviews with investigators they wrote, and had engaged in a continuous stream of public interviews about her allegations, many of which would include sensationalized, if not demonstrably inaccurate, characterization of experience. Those inaccuracies were included in false accounts in her interactions with FBI. Still, the U.S. prosecutors attempted to arrange an interview with Andrew, now known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. He refused to make himself available. Giffrey settled a lawsuit with Mountbatten Windsor in which she had accused him of sexual misconduct. In a memoir published after she killed herself last year, Giffrey wrote that prosecutors told her they didn't include her in the case against Maxwell because they didn't want her allegations to distract the jury. She insisted her accounts be trafficked. She insisted her accounts of being trafficked to elite men were true. I mean, there's several victims that have said that people paid for them. Okay, there's several victims that came forward, or that were in the files that said many powerful men paid for them. That to me sounds like a sex trafficking ring. Investigators seized multitude of videos and photos from Epstein's electronic devices and homes in New York, Florida, and the Virgin Islands. They found CDs, hard copy of photographs, at least one videotape containing nude images of females who seemed as if they might be minors. I mean, yeah. This guy was a pedophile. One device contained 15 to 20 images depicting commercial child sex abuse material. Pictures investigators said the Epstein obtained on the internet. Okay. Okay. That's a terrible way to describe arranging for her to be molested by Andrew. Yep. Yep. This is Washington Post, owned by Jeff Bezos, so. No videos or photos showed Epstein victims being sexually abused. None of them showed any males with any of the nude females, and none contained evidence implicating anyone other than Epstein and Maxwell. Then U.S. Assistant Attorney Maureen Comey wrote in an email for FBI officials. Right, again, so then what is Ghislaine Maxwell doing in jail? There's pictures of Trump auctioning off girls. I don't doubt that. Holding novelty size checks so you can't claim it's your eyesight. Yeah, don't believe your lying eyes, ears, and brain. Yeah, so then what is she doing in jail? Right? If she wasn't trafficking to anybody, if there was nothing going on here, then what is she doing in jail? Had they existed, the government would have pursued any leads they generated. We did not have or locate any of these videos. I think this is bullshit. Investigators who scoured Epstein's bank account found payments to more than 25 women who appeared to be models, but no evidence that he engaged in prostituting women to other men. Yeah, okay. In 2019, prosecutors weighed the possibility of charging one of Epstein's longtime assistants, but decided against it. Prosecutors concluded that while the assistant was involved in helping Epstein pay girls for sex, and may have been aware that some were underage, she herself was a victim of sexual abuse and manipulation. So again, like, there's no sex trafficking ring going on here? Okay. Sure. Investigators examined Epstein's relationship with the French modeling agent Jean-Luc Brunel, who was once involved in the agency with Epstein in the U.S., and was accused in a separate case of sexually assaulting women in Europe. Brunel killed himself in jail while awaiting trial on rape charges in France. Prosecutors also weighed whether to charge one of Epstein's girlfriends who had participated in sexual acts with some of the victims. Investigators interviewed his girlfriend, who was 18 to 20 at the time, but it was determined that there was not enough evidence. That is so true as the claims Epstein committed suicide. Days before Epstein's July 2019 arrest, the FBI strategized about sending agents to serve grand jury subpoenas on people close to Epstein, including his pilots, long-term business clients, retail mogul Les Wexner. Wexner's lawyers told investigators that neither he nor his wife had knowledge of Epstein's sexual misconduct. Yeah, okay. Epstein had managed Wexner's finances, but the couple's lawyers said they cut him off in 2007 after learning he stole from them. There's limited evidence regarding his involvement, said an FBI agent of Wexner in 2019. All this to say is just like, I'm sorry, but I don't believe you, right? Because none of this is making any sense, right? Pam Bondi said that there was an Epstein client, there's an Epstein client list. She was saying that the FBI was reviewing tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with child, But FBI agents wrote Superior saying the client list didn't exist. Somebody's lying here, and I think that it's not out of pocket anymore to assume that maybe what's happening here is that they are trying to rewrite reality in real time and make so many different conflicting accounts that nobody knows what the truth is, really. Because one day Pam Bondi says we've got the list, and the FBI is saying actually there is no sex trafficking ring. It's all I think in an effort to kind of squash this. Because now we're being told that there was never a list. Okay? Now we're being told there was never a list. There was a list, the guy trying to sell it got jailed for like 20 years, but it got leaked on 4chan anyways. Yeah, incidentally, 4chan was something that Jeffrey Epstein had a hand in. Along with the whole QAnon thing. All of this seems to me like them trying to put the toothpaste back in the tube, right? That's what this all looks like to me. The picture of Andrew over the body of the dead 8-year-old girl he was molesting, likely killed in the process, that said someone else was implicated besides Epstein himself. Yep. Yeah, I mean, like, the stuff that came out is pretty freaking gross, man. And the type of crimes that we're hearing is just wild. It's just wild. And now we're being told that there's nothing to see here? Yeah, okay. It's just the reality of this Epstein shit is just like, this country is such a farce. Yeah. He's making a list, he's checking it twice, he's gonna find out who's naughty or nice. Or like some billionaire is gonna hide their own bodies all by themselves as if they ever do work themselves. Yep. The breeding farm and cannibalism are are extreme. Yeah, I mean, like, we let, even if that is not true, right? Like, even if those, you know, more extreme claims aren't true. I mean, like, shoot, there's so much credible evidence in the files about these rich and powerful people abusing children. Like, I don't. Even if all of that was not true, like, man, there's just so much in there with all these freaks. And we're being told that there's no sex trafficking ring. Spoiler alert, they were all naughty. I mean, the breeding farm thing isn't just like a claim, it's witness testimony. Yeah, I'm saying, like, even if none of that was true, there's just like so much evidence of this happening in terms of like the sex trafficking, the abuse of children. Like, so much so that Jeffrey Epstein found it necessary to kind of create QAnon, essentially, or at least like spread the foundation for a conspiracy like QAnon to come to life, when in reality that's exactly what was happening in a way. In a way. There's more corroborating the breeding farm than the cannibalism, but the Jeff has been getting around quite a bit. Also, again, I mean, this is not beyond these type of people. I also have confirmed on my own that they definitely subpoenaed phone records regarding 4chan posting claiming that Epstein was moved. They didn't follow up on it. Yeah. I've heard about that. This is asinine. They're trying to tell us that the Epstein stuff just didn't happen. We should all just move along. We should all just move along, right? Why should it be a list in a sensitive trafficking case? Nothing is recorded. It's like the mafia meetings. It's all oral and hidden. When mafia people make millions of dollars deal for trafficking, they do not sign a written treaty. That's true. But one could say that maybe there was a list because this wasn't just a sex trafficking ring. This was a honeypot operation to get powerful people compromised. I'm sure he knew how to keep his records clean, like when he made Bill Gates follow up on when he made Bill Gates send $2 million to MIT. Yeah, he also was involved in a lot of financial crimes. Yes. The amount of shit the FBI didn't follow up on is unbelievable. Yep, and we're being told that nothing happened. I feel like if you just if you justify sex trafficking people, you could certainly justify breeding them like the cattle you've already treated them in other respects, and the murder and cannibalism are then just a part and parcel once you're engaging in the preceding bits. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I would nothing I would put past what the characters of these people we've already seen on full display. QAnon. But these guys were like, to Jeffrey, would you like to traffic people and rape them? Other billionaire, yes, please. I mean, literally, right? Yeah, and also, like, just to be clear, like, also, just to be clear, like, we're talking about, like, psychopathic billionaires who have so much money that they feel that they are untouchable. So yeah, I mean, of course they're gonna talk like this. Of course they're gonna be like, yeah, what are you gonna? They're untouchable, effectively, right? In a sense. The FBI back then was also doing contempt. Contempt is a crime. I agree. The FBI has very little to do with crime fighting. 99% of what they do is COINTELPRO. If an adult needs to consent for a child to go on school trip, then... Oh, which anon? I think they meant like the actual like anonymous hacking network. But I don't know like how far that goes. I do know that it seems to me, based on what we've seen, that Jeffrey Epstein absolutely had the idea of trying to perpetuate the QAnon conspiracy theory with the purpose of kind of like making this so outlandish that people just wouldn't pay attention at all. People would just think that there's just like a bunch of crazy people, which incidentally happens to be true, and create this like kind of like reverse psychology psyop or whatever. Our internet's about to be drastically changed. I think I see why Biden didn't roll back Obama era protections. They're about to unalive the internet as we know it. It worked for a while anyways. Yeah, and the thing is, like, it was true. I mean, at least the core principle of QAnon is true. There is a cabal of pedophiles. There is a cabal of billionaire pedophiles. That part is true. All right, folks, we got two more stories and we're out of here. Justice Department moves to dismiss Steve Bannon's criminal case. Yeah, right? Just like there's no sex trafficking ring that happened, right? The Justice Department on Monday, today, moved to dismiss its long-running criminal case against Steve Bannon tied to his refusal to testify before a congressional committee that investigated the January 6th insurrection. Bannon, a longtime ally of President Trump, was convicted in 2022 on 2 counts of contempt. Yeah, just being useful idiots for it. I'm bummed out right now. Yeah. I feel that. For refusing to appear for a deposition before the House committee that investigated the insurrection and declining to produce documents requested by the committee. The rules are made up and the laws don't matter if you're rich. Yes. But not us. No, not us. No, not us. Bannon served 4 months in federal prison in 2024. The Justice Department wrote in its unopposed motion Monday to dismiss the case. The government has determined in its prosecutorial discretion that the dismissal of the criminal case is in the interest of justice. Fantastic. Bannon had asked the Supreme Court to hear the appeal of his conviction last year, and the Trump administration's response was due Monday. Instead of addressing the issue Bannon raised, Solicitor General John Sauer, a former Trump personal lawyer, said the government now believes the underlying indictment should be dismissed. Cool. I mean, sure. Yeah, made up by the rich to matter for us. Yeah. Has anybody seen the movie Snowpiercer? That speech that the lady makes to the working class or to the poor, she always, like, she's like the representative, the mouthpiece of like the rich on the train. She always says, like, know your place, right? Know your place. Me. Yeah. Yeah, we'd definitely be in the back of the train, 100%. I don't think so. That could be another one for the list. It's a really good movie. Do we know Epstein's political views? His political views was pedophilia. It's a knockoff Willy Wonka, but it's good. I agree. At the same time, Jeanine Pirro, the U.S. Attorney District of Columbia, submitted a filing with the lower court judge asking that the case be dismissed. The filing says defendant Bannon does not oppose this motion. Bannon did not immediately request for a return for comment. If the legal strategy works, it would largely be symbolic since Bannon had already served his time. The indictment and conviction against Bannon came after the House voted to find him in contempt. The January 6th committee wanted more information about comments he made before the riot. All hell is going to break loose tomorrow, he said. So yeah, they absolutely knew about this. About the insurrection. But hey, you know, whatever. Yeah, anarcho-capitalism is just like extra syllables for fascist. Anytime anybody says they're an ANCAP, first of all, it's a meme, okay? Second of all, if they're actually serious about it, it always just turns into fascism. Yeah, it's true. Must be conservatism consists of exactly one proposition. To it, there must be in-groups whom the law protects but does not bind, alongside with out-groups whom the law binds but does not protect. I was gonna go over this, but like, I mean, is it really surprising that we find that Lutnick is in the Epstein files? Like, his entire inner circle is just like people in the Epstein files. Okay? Like, how much do we even really need to go over here? Welcome, Etchbox. Oh, you just want it the way it is now? You simply don't understand that's literally what you're asking for, doesn't? Right is just surrender more to plutocratic absolute dominance explicitly. How could you imagine being a society more cucked to plutocrats? It is pretty redundant. I mean, this is not surprising at all. They're all pretty much a ring of just like pedophiles, okay? And people compromise just by being associated with these pedophiles. That's all these people will ever be in my mind. We live in a millionaire plutocracy. Well, billionaire plutocracy. The world is a resort for 500 people, basically, and we're just the help, okay? That's not my quote. I heard it from... I saw it on the internet. The world is just a resort for 500 really rich people, and we're all just the help. That's kind of like... kind of where we're at. You know? Alright, folks. I gotta get out of here. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Folks, tomorrow I will be on this space about 7 p.m. Please take the moment to go share, to go subscribe. Thank you all for your support. You guys are what makes this channel go. Without your support, we can't continue. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you guys hanging out and chatting. Thank you to everyone on YouTube. Thank you to everyone on Twitch. Thank you, Michael Hasser, and thank you, Heat, for modding the chat. I appreciate you guys. If you want to support the channel directly, check out the links, check out the store, check out !tip. Join the Discord, folks, and check out my show every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I appreciate all of you guys. That is their worldview, that Epstein's political view in one sentence, true. Thank you all, as always. Please stay safe, folks. I'm out of here. It's time for me to get some food. Please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one tomorrow, about 7 p.m. See ya. This is BS. You'll be alright. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Hang tight. Appreciate that, Ladybug. Alright, folks, hang tight. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.